Kidney disease does not just affect the patient, it affects the whole family. Patients often rely and need their partners on their journey with this lifelong chronic illness. With the onset of COVID-19, the role of partners and caretakers became even more critical. I spoke with Sharon, Chief Recalma's wife and caretaker, to understand what changed for her with COVID-19 and how she is holding up.
Gotten a little bit tougher, I'll be honest, because more stuff has fallen to me, where I could say to Michael before, just run to the store and pick me up this or get that, or I could send him off to do something. We have to really think about where he's going, what he's doing. Do I do it? Does he do it? And so it's changed in that regard. Also, the first time when I took him to the hospital when his potassium dropped, and not being able to go into the emergency with him and sitting in the cold, wet, dark, blowy parking lot, wondering what was going on, that is kind of when I realized that the whole world had changed, right? It was a lot more serious. COVID was a lot more serious than we on the island were pretending it was. Because for a long time we believed we were on the island, it's not going to affect us, we can go about our life almost normally, right? And then boom, you can't go into the hospital with your spouse, and it's real. I was texting one of Michael's sisters who had worked in the hospital, and she'd worked in the emergency room, so she kind of could talk me down a little bit and kind of say, they're probably doing this, they're probably doing that. But it was the fear of not knowing, am I going home without him tonight? There was nothing sort of to go. And I don't think Michael was able to text me at that time either. So I didn't even have that communication with him. And there was a lot of fear, a little bit of anger, but we got through that. He came home. And then we moved forward to the next crisis. A couple months ago, in November, my mother went in the hospital, so we went through all the whole issue with Michael, trying to get Michael's iron and figuring out what was wrong with my mother. And so my mental health took a nosedive, big time. And I didn't think to ask for help because I was so busy trying to manage the doctors and phone calls and phone calls from my mother. Every so often she would get a phone call out. And so I went to a place that you don't want to go to because it's really, I was angry, I was annoyed, I was my temper was probably getting a little bit shorter than it should be. And then Michael sent me to the cabin. And so now my mental health is back up to where it should be. So a little staycation it does wonders, right? Yeah, so sitting in the car in the emergency, and a year later, I can't believe that I'm still sitting in the car waiting outside the emergency, the lab, all of those places that we would normally go in together. 1 year later, we're still sitting in parking lots